land, and air. And so we took those topics and focus our instruction on the seed component, the air component, and then a land component. And then intertwined within that, we also have a business that we run with ROV buckets, and we lease them out to other schools. So we have a marketing team, we have a competition team, and we have an accounting team. And one of the other pieces that we do is we have competitions that we're involved with the ROVs. We're raising salmon in the classroom with the DNR. We work with Lowe's on some workshops. And I'm going to let them take care of it all. They do a much better job than I do. And this is Adam Twining, who's a 5th grade student. And this is Melina Rosedale, who's a 4th grade student. And we have 3rd graders as well. We have about 87 students in our program, and I'll let them walk you through it.
Well, this we were building ROVs as just a little, as one of our water components. So we learned how to work together and to build an ROV as a team.
During this process, we built cranes where we had to pick up this water bottle or a plastic bottle and put it into our tubs filled with water without having it fall onto the floor. So that was a really fun project that we did, and I had a lot of fun doing that.
This is another one that's ROVs.
Here we have, this was our first batch of salmon. We took care of them. This batch we bought them as eggs. Well, they died from pneumonia, and so we got a new batch.
Explain to them how we got our new batch, though.
Because we recorded all of our data and how it all happened, and we talked to the DNR, and they said that since we recorded all the data and what happened, that we could get a new batch.
We built some hovercrafts, and that was part of our air component. And we measured a lot and stuff. So after that, there was kids flying down the hallways.
With this one, we were learning how to use coordinates, and we used this huge sandbox, and we put string over top of it and across to make it have squares all over, and we had to use our coordinate grid to find hidden treasure underneath it.
We built an arcade out of cardboard inspired by this little boy named Kane who became really popular because he had this arcade and he made everything out of cardboard. So we did some of that. And
Explain to them the topics about why is that one called Veto a Bill?
Veto a Bill? Well, this one, you had to, it was kind of like the mole game, whack-a-mole. And you'd have to hit the bills, and we had to base our game on like a few different topics like government, salmon, and some other things.
This is another arcade one. This is where some students are trying out other people's arcade games, and you can see that this one's different than the other ones because we all had different subjects we had to do. So
What did all of the games have to have on them?
they all had to have lights. They all had to have.
Who wired those?
We did.
Do you have switches?
Yes.
Tell them what you did with the second graders with the games,
We,
the money.
Second graders? Oh,
oh yeah, we used money with the second graders, because it's just, we used it because the second graders need to know how to count money. So if they won a part in the arcade game, we would tell them what, like, if it's a quarter, we'd say, what coin is this? And they would say, quarter. And if they got it right, then they would be able to get a prize. And if they didn't, then they could try again until they get it right.
well, since we have the salmon, we have to test it to get the data that we need. So we learned how to test all the fish water, about the ammonia, the pH, the GH, and stuff like that. So
And what happens when the GH or the KH goes up or down? Who comes marching down the hall? Who?
Mr. Curley.
Where's he at?
well,
Here everyone in the academy made a historical figure. They all learned about a historical figure, and they had to make a box, and they had to decorate it about the person. In this picture, it's Fred Bear, and we all had to have an artifact, and we had to have your name of the person at the top, and we had to make a speech about our person and tell details and why our person was good for the Michigan.
well, since the ROV business, we trying to motivate people to have people go back and bring things to their school so that they'll lease out our ROVs. We had I think it's called Build and Grow Clinic at Lowe's, and we run our ROVs, and kids would come up and they'd build ROVs and teach them how to drive and everything. So
Were you able to lease them out to anyone?
maybe
Who leased our ROVs? What school?
Albion leased out some of our ROVs.
How much did you lease them out for?
I think it was $500 for
Mhm.
10 buckets. So these are all the things we learned.